Hey, that's the NBA, man. You go from a couple of nights ago against the Clippers, where the Miami Heat shot 24 of 46 from three. That's good enough for 52%. My God, the Heat were on fire last game. But then you have a game like tonight, where the Heat shot 11 of 37 from three, and that's only 29%. You know, they say it's a make or miss league, and that's absolutely true. They also say it's the best drama in sports league, and that's also true, because what a wild day it was today in the NBA, and I feel like talking about it because I don't really have a lot to say about this game anyways, but I actually spoke about it already a little bit earlier today, where I dropped a video about the Giannis Antetokounmpo news, so if you didn't see that video, go check it out after this. But basically, as we know now, Shams put out a report that said Giannis and his agents are going to meet with the Bucks front office to decide his future with the team. And to me, that just means that Giannis is going to give the front office and John Horst, the GM, he's going to give them a list of preferred trade destinations. And I expect that we see that list in the next few weeks. So we'll see what happens, though, because the Bucks actually did win tonight somehow. Because the other crazy news we got is Giannis had a pretty scary injury about 3 minutes into the game versus the Pistons, the best team in the East. Of course, the Heat lose to the Pistons. They get their ass kicked. And now the Bucks go ahead and beat the Pistons without Giannis. That frustrates me greatly. It doesn't change my overall opinion that the Bucks still suck, and I don't think a win versus the Pistons is going to all of a sudden change Giannis's mind. But hey, depending what the prognosis of this injury is, could really change that everything. Because if you didn't see the play, it was basically a non-contact injury where Giannis was coming back down the court on defense, and all of a sudden he just collapsed to the ground and he started grabbing his right calf. Now, he was officially announced out with a right calf strain, and I'm hoping that is the case, best case scenario, because you don't want to see anybody get injured or seriously injured. And I haven't seen any clips, fortunately, where you can see any sort of thing pop. And I've seen some real doctors on Twitter say they don't think it's, anything as serious as an Achilles rupture or anything like that. So I do hope the best for Giannis. And I also did see a clip from a couple of playoffs ago where it looked like the same thing, where he had a right calf strain. He basically collapsed out of nowhere, was grabbing his calf. And of course, in that case, he did miss the entire postseason. So I'm not saying this won't be a significant injury, but hopefully it's not a season-ending thing, because, of course, if it was, that would completely change everything. We just got what was basically a trade request, or a request before the trade request today. And now if a guy gets hurt like that, obviously that would completely change everything. So we'll see what ends up happening with the Bucks situation there. And of course, the other news we got earlier today was the Clippers cutting Chris Paul. Oh my God, what a poverty of a franchise. And trust me, I know what a poverty franchise looks like. I'm a Dolphins fan. But for the Clippers to cut Chris Paul, who's on a minimum contract, it's not even like they're saving any money, because they still don't have any salary cap space or the roster spot to make anything work. So they literally, I said cut. They didn't technically cut him yet. They want to try to find a trade for him, because then they would get a little bit of salary cap relief. But if nobody ends up trading for him, they're probably going to end up waiving him or just keeping him sent home and continue to send him checks. And that's just wildly disrespectful. For a guy who is widely regarded as the greatest Clipper of all time, had those great Lob City years, he comes back on what's supposed to be a farewell tour, and for you to cut him, for you to actually make him fly with the team to Atlanta and then tell him to go home, you couldn't even have the decency to wait until you're back home in order to cut him or tell him to go home? Oh, that's ridiculous. And then when more reports came out that apparently the front office of the Clippers sent him home because they didn't like Chris Paul criticizing the front office, they didn't like his leadership style. And it's like, you knew what Chris Paul's leadership style was. He was with your organization for a lot of years. You know what type of guy he is. You knew what you were getting into. And just everything we know about the front office, trash organization that they have, whether it's the aspiration, fake tree business, giving Kawhi money under the table, or just everything else we know about the Clippers over the years, they've always been a really second or third tier organization. So it doesn't surprise me that Chris Paul would criticize the way they do things. And for the Clippers front office to get petty, get their feelings hurt, and instead of actually making a damn change when they should know they're a trash organization who's never won anything, For them to not take maybe Chris Paul's criticism, maybe listen to the guy who was the leader of the NBA Players Organization for several years. Maybe he knows what guys around the organization want, and obviously he's one of the highest IQ basketball minds of our generation. Instead of maybe listening to him, they decide to send him home. Oh, what an awful look for that organization. Seriously, what a year Clippers fans are having. Between the aspiration Kawhi stuff, and then they lose Norman Powell for nothing, see him blossom into who will be an all-star this season, although he missed tonight's game against the Mavericks, which we will get into. Trust me, we've been talking for 5.5 minutes anyways, but to see him blossom into an all-star, and in return they get Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal goes out with a season-ending injury, and then the only thing that Clippers fans have to cheer this season, because they don't even have their first-round pick, that goes to OKC. So the only thing they have to cheer for is Chris Paul's farewell tour, and then he gets sent home. It was reported that their head coach, Tyronn Lue, wasn't on speaking terms with Chris Paul for weeks. You know how bad that is, that the head coach of your organization is not on speaking terms with a player for weeks? Oh, what? That is the epitome of a trash organization. Oh my God, what a dumpster fire that team is. But hey, crazy day in the NBA nonetheless. Not a crazy one for the Miami Heat though, because I found this game to be wildly boring, because basically you had Norman Powell, the Mavericks. They didn't have any PJ Washington, which was a little bit of a break for the Miami Heat because PJ killed us last time we played him. But they did get Anthony Davis back tonight. And speaking of him, I did tell y'all in the video earlier today to go on FanDuel, the sponsor of today's video, and take Anthony Davis over 34.5 points plus rebounds, because I told y'all he was going to come out and look very good today against the Miami Heat, and in return also make me look good, because I dropped the video yesterday saying that I would like the Heat to perhaps ponder trading for Anthony Davis. And Anthony Davis tonight finished with 17 points and 17 rebounds. That comes to 34. So I lost by a half a point or a half a rebound there, but that's how it goes, man. You win some, you lose some. I did end up winning a little bit today, because when the Heat were down like 16 in the fourth quarter, I threw a little bit of bread on them, threw a little bit of bread on the money line, because if there's one thing you know about the Miami Heat, it's that they're going to make a little run to come back. And as soon as they made a run, they cut it to like 6. You best believe I cashed the hell out. So I made a little bit of profit there at least, because yeah, that's basically what the game was. We can run through my notes here real quick. So we'll start with the Heat starting lineup, where with Norman out, Pelle Larsson got the starts. Kind of knew that was going to happen. Of course, most people like myself wanted to see Khalil Ware starts. That didn't happen. But I thought Pelle was okay from the jump. In addition to the defensive stuff that he does, I really like that he wasn't scared to attack Cooper Flagg. Actually drew a couple of fouls on him early. To Flagg's credit, he did have 3 fouls early into the second quarter, but then I think he finished with 3 fouls. Let me double check. He didn't get any late, but for the most part, he played very solid defense the rest of the game. And yeah, only finished with 3 fouls. So credit to him. I do think Flagg had a very good performance today. He hit some huge buckets in that fourth quarter and finished with 22 points on 69 nice percent shooting for the game today. So Flagg has certainly picked it up over the last couple of weeks after a slower start to his rookie season compared to guys like his Kentucky counterpart, Con Knipple. Obviously, VJ Edgecombe's had his moments, and some other guys as well. So Cooper Flagg's definitely picked it up of late. There was a moment in the first quarter where Simone Fontecchio and Caleb Martin got into it a little bit. They got double technicals. And the reason I want to note that is because, like, Fontecchio, you got to chill out a little bit, bro. Like, it gets to a point, okay? Because for the last few weeks, I've been defending him while he's been in this shooting slump. I said, hey, it's nothing but a regression to the mean. He was shooting 50% from 3 this season. We knew that wasn't sustainable. We knew he was going to come back down to earth a little bit, and it was going to take a little slump to do that. This is a little bit more than some tiny slump. That's today. Fontecchio shot 2 of 8 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3. That's 28%. Like I said, it gets to a point. You got to start hitting some shots, Fontecchio. We can't keep getting under 30% every single night, especially when you keep taking these fadeaway threes without your feet getting set. Those are the type of heat check shots when you're actually making your shots. If you're not making your shots, maybe settle down a little bit. Set your feet. Take some more easier ones. And on top of that, you don't get into it with our guy, Caleb Martin. I don't care if he has on a jersey of an opposing team. He is a Heat lifer for life. That's what Heat lifer means. So maybe cool it on a Fontecchio or get it on Caleb Martin beef, all right? Maybe cool it on that. You know, if you want to get in on Najee Marshall, the guy who disrespected Jimmy Butler back in the day, fine, you know? Najee Marshall, great player. I do like him a lot, but he's an op, you know? Caleb Martin, chill on that, Fontecchio. In that first quarter, though, Herro was basically the only one scoring, really the only one scoring in the first half. We should mention he had 20 points in the first half. 0 in the second half. That's right. He scored as much as me and you in the second half, but he also didn't get a lot of shots, so I really don't want to blame Tyler Herro for that. But in the first quarter, the Heat were down 33-30 after 1. And then in the second quarter, that's when things really opened up in the Mavericks' favor as the Heat couldn't contain Ryan Nembhard, a guy that I love a lot. He just had a monster game, their last game versus the Nuggets. I think he had like 30 and 10 on 80% shooting, something ridiculous. He's a great player, of course, the brother of Andrew Nembhard. But I was a fan of his coming into the draft. I was actually thinking maybe if the Heat could buy a second-round pick, get him in the second round, because I really believed in him as a player, because in college he was nothing but an ultra efficient shooter slash very, very high assist to turnover ratio guy. I mean, even in their last game versus Dallas, I think he had 10 assists to very few turnovers, or their last game versus Denver, he had a lot of assists to few turnovers. And then today, same thing. He had 13 assists to 1 turnover, which is just insane. Listen, we've been giving Davion Mitchell credit all year for his assist to turnover ratio. This one from Nembhard is beautiful. What a night for him. I mean, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 13 assists, only 1 turnover on 60% shooting. He's awesome. The crazy thing is, he actually didn't even get drafted at all. And I remember because the second the draft ended and I saw he wasn't drafted, I was hoping we would hear that the Heat signed him. You know, pretty early on, we heard the Heat signed Vlad Golden. But then also one of the first undrafted signings was Ryan Nembhard to Dallas. So he was kind of off the undrafted markets instantly. So I knew he was going to be good. And he has gotten off a little bit these last few games for Dallas. But the Heat couldn't contain him. We randomly got some Jovic minutes halfway through the quarter. He immediately missed a wide open runner and then a butt-ass wide open 3. So he continues to stink. His defense was awful. He's getting cooked by Ryan Nembhard. But the truth of the matter is, you could say that about everyone on Miami. Nobody was hitting shots or containing Nembhard. And that's why the Mavs would go up as much as 12, and it would end up being a 10-point game at the half. The third quarter, basically more of the same, as the Heat would be down 13 going into the fourth quarter. And then there was this interesting lineup of Drew Smith, Jaime Jaquez, Fontecchio, Wiggins, and Ware that really started chipping away into the lead. No big runs, because every time the Heat looked like they might have got a run, Dallas would hit a huge shot. You know, it'd be Najee Marshall, Cooper Flag again. Everybody just kind of hit these big shots so the Heat couldn't go on this monster run like we saw versus the Clippers. But a big reason the Heat started chipping away was Khalil Ware. I will say I don't think defensively it was his best performance tonight. I feel like he was out of place more times than I'd like. But offensively, he was sensational. Really the only one hitting threes. He was hitting threes all over the place. Had this insane scooping right-handed layup over Anthony Davis. Just doing things that only Khalil Ware and Wembanyama can do. You know, with that 7-foot freakish wingspan and athleticism, he was awesome today. Outside of, once again, we talked about this a lot earlier in the season. It's been a few games since he's done it. But once again, we saw today where Ware would get a great rebound and then immediately turn it over. I know he's trying to push pace, you know, so I want to give him credit for that. But you just got to be a little bit more cognizant of where the defense is at when you get a rebound. It's not going to kill the pace if you take an extra half a second to look at your man before you pass the ball. Because what happened is he'd get a rebound, try to hit ahead, and the pass would get intercepted. Just want to see him slow down a little bit in that spot. But then finally, with 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go, we did see what's my preferred closing lineup given Norman Powell's injury, which was Davion Mitchell, Tyler Herro, Wiggins, Bam, and Ware. So we did see Bam and Ware close the game with each other. But the truth of the matter is the Heat just couldn't get enough stops. And that was pretty much all she wrote, as the Dallas Mavericks would end up winning by, what was it, still 10 points? Yeah, 118-108. Again, you know, I want to talk a little bit of Tyler Herro here, because in my last video, I don't want to even say I was critical of him, because it's so funny, because anytime you say anything except Tyler Herro is the best player in the world, the Herro stands get on you. which again, I appreciate. At the end of the day, we're all Heat fans. So I appreciate your passion for a guy in Tyler Herro, who, mind you, I also like a lot. I'm a Tyler Herro fan. His bobblehead is literally right here, front and center. I'm a fan of Tyler Herro. But basically what I said in that video versus the Clippers is I don't think their optimal closing lineup is with him. And a lot of that is because of the defense, And it's funny because also in that video, I started it by saying the Heat are a better team with Tyler Herro, and I like Tyler Herro and he helps this team. I said those things, and you wouldn't believe it, but because I said he's not in their optimal closing lineup, I got called a hater. I got called all kinds of things in those comments. I even had one guy say, oh, you're just saying all these things to get clicks. It's like, okay, on one hand, when I am negative, it's not even negativity. It's just my opinion, I'm not even being a hater. I'm just sharing my opinion. But when I share my opinion that might be slightly critical, I get all these comments, calling me a hater, which does help the algorithm. But I also lose subscribers because those Herro stands are passionate. I am net negative on subscribers in the last 3 days because I said something slightly negative about Tyler Herro. So if I cared about subscribers and clicks and all that stuff, I wouldn't be out here giving my realistic opinion. I would just say I love Tyler Herro. I would do all these things, and I wouldn't get people mad at me. But guess what? I'm a realist. I'm not sitting here for clicks and subscribers. Now, of course, the goal is to make it big one day, do this YouTube thing full time because I absolutely love doing this thing. And I love all of y'all that tune in, right? And getting subscribers and all this stuff is important in doing this YouTube thing full time. But the reason I started YouTube and continue to do it is because I love sharing my opinion on basketball. So I will never not share my opinion because I'm scared of what somebody else is going to think of me. You know how quickly I could have been credentialed by now if I would have put a muzzle on myself or not say certain things that I say or not make Kyle Lowry Whopper videos. But the truth of the matter is, I would rather be myself and share my truthful opinion than be in the media interviewing guys. Because I got my integrity, Not saying credential guys don't have integrity. Obviously, I love all the credential guys, whether it's Tobin, the Locked On guys, Wes, Dave Ramil, Ethan Skolnick on 5 Reasons, and Alex Toledo, Brian, Brady Hawk. All those guys are great. But the point is, I'm not scared to be critical on here if I need to, right? And the Herro stands, they don't like it. And the reasons that kind of get back to my original point, that in that video, I said Herro's not a part of the optimal closing lineup is because of the defense. And nobody was good on defensively on the Heat today. I'm not just trying to use Tyler Herro as the scapegoat. You hear me? I'm not. Everyone sucked. But it's these certain plays that very much so aggravate me. The dagger for Dallas tonight is when Max Christie had the ball in isolation on Tyler Herro. For some reason, Tyler Herro was guarding Max Christie 10 feet behind the three-point line, and Christie just walks past Tyler Herro, blows right past him with no resistance, forces Bam to step up, lob is wide open, backdoor to Anthony Davis. And it's just a guy like Davion Mitchell is not getting blown by that easily. Norman Powell, while he's not a Davion Mitchell type defender, he's not getting blown by that easily. And that's why I think Herro is not in the optimal closing lineup. But nonetheless, he helps the team because he is such a phenomenal scorer and such a great shooter that throughout the game, you can definitely use his scoring punch when guys get cold or just to help carry you through a game offensively. But late in the games, I just think defense is the most important. I really, really do. And again, he's made some nice plays today defensively as well. I thought he had some good contests, had a nice steal early on. But again, it's just late in the games. But we'll run through the box score real quick here, where on the Miami Heat side of things, you had Pelle Larsson, 4 points in his start, 1 of 5 from the field. He continues a very big shooting slump. Speaking of shooting slumps, Andrew Wiggins, while he did have 11.6 rebounds, 5 assists, he definitely was the Heat's worst player tonight. I don't think he was great on defense like he usually is. And just from an efficiency standpoint, he was god-awful. 4 of 18, that's 22%. In the fourth quarter, he forced a couple of tough ones on Cooper Flagg for no reason. It's like, maybe get Tyler Herro the ball. If you're going to have Herro in there, then at least give him the ball to score, because that's why Spo has him in there. But Wiggins forced some tough ones, got blocked a few times, couldn't get nothing going today. But it's a bad game for Wiggins. I don't want to be too hard on him. Bam today, 21 points, 7 rebounds, 10 of 19 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. There was points where he was the only one going, really had that mid-range working for him today. And Tyler Herro today, 20 points, 0 assists to 2 turnovers. Don't love that. 8 of 17 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3. Had an awesome first half. He really did. Some tough layups and stuff too. I just wish the Heat could have got him more involved in the second half. Donovan Mitchell today, 4 points, 9 assists to 0 turnovers. My God. Clap it up for Davion Mitchell, man. What is in the last 4 games? What is he at? Like 40 assists to 2 turnovers? Oh my God. Yeah, he's awesome. Obviously, even though he didn't shoot the ball well today either. He was 2 of 7. Mohamed Hawkins today has been shooting the ball very bad. He's been finishing at the rim very poorly. Same thing tonight, 3 of 10 from the field. But he did have 10 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals. So at least he still keeps stuff in the stat sheet a little bit. But you want to see him knock down these bunnies close to the rim like he used to do. And then Fontecchio today, we talked about him, 8 points, 2 of 8 from the field. Drew Smith today, 8 points, 4 rebounds and 4 assists to 0 turnovers. So 13 assists to 0 turnovers. 0 turnovers for your 2 point guards today. And then Khalil Ware was absolutely awesome offensively today. 22 points, 8 of 11 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3. Also got you 10 rebounds to secure his double-double. And then Jovic played 6 minutes and was a -8. So that's all I got to say about this game. The Heat do take on the Orlando Magic on Friday in a monster performance. And I want to remind y'all before that to go on FanDuel and take a look at the Miami Heat to win the Southeast Division at +190, because right now the Magic are ahead of us according to FanDuel. And I think the Heat have a couple of matchups versus the Magic coming up. So if the Heat win one or both of them, you'll see these odds shift a little bit. So get in right now while you still can. Anyways, that's all I got to say about this video. Make sure y'all subscribe because I do appreciate all your supports, and leave your thoughts down in the comments below. That being said, I'll see you on the next one. Peace out, y'all.
Pull up in your city trying to get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.